Hey everyone, my name is Joe Thomas. I will be the instructor for Kinesiology 4900, promoting physical activity in the community. It's my first time being full professor. I co-taught, I've been a TA probably for many of you the last 4 years. So excited to kind of get the reins of my own course. And I'm excited to meet all of you this summer. Hopefully I get the opportunity. And I'm excited for, having a great summer with all of y'all and getting the most that we can out of this course and promoting physical activity in the community. So a little bit about me. I'm a fourth year PhD student, supposed to be finishing up in spring, but with COVID, everything got pushed back a little bit, hoping to finish in August. I work with perceptual cognitive expertise. So I've done studies with improving diagnostic abilities of radiologists for cancer. I focus now on developing game intelligence for athletes, specifically soccer players, understanding a bit more about what's going on in their brain as they make decisions. How can we use that for talent identification and developing youth players? In my free time, I'm a scout for a team in Europe, so really invested a lot in soccer, and it's what I really want to do with my life after my PhD. So yeah, that's a bit about me. I figured with this video, I'll go through the syllabus, try to cover as many questions that you may have as I can. There's quite a bit that the syllabus covers, so making sure that we understand the requirements in each specific type of assignment and thing we'll be working on is going to be really important for staying organized and keeping up with this course. So with that, I will share my screen and we'll start going through the syllabus. Okay, hopefully you can see my screen. You may not be able to see me, but hopefully you can hear me. This is the syllabus on Canvas. I just got it right from the homepage. There's a link to this right there. The first thing to note is my office hours are virtual. I've been mostly working from home or from my laboratory, not too much in my office in Hyper. If you'd like to make an appointment, feel free to reach out to me anytime. We'll find a time that works for both of us. Send me some options of times, that would be great, and I'll create a Zoom meeting for us and we can chat about any issues you may be having, or I can answer any questions you may be having. The prerequisites, I'm sure you all have completed at this point. I'll go into the first aid in a second. I guess the other important thing is that this is a 4 credit hour class. Many of the other courses within the kinesiology department are 3 hours. So the requirements for this course are going to be a bit steeper than you might be used to. Additionally, this is the capstone, really penultimatum class of the kinesiology department. So you've had three or so years, maybe more, of experience within the undergrad to get to this level. So it's going to require you to incorporate knowledge you've learned from previous courses, as well as just a higher expectation in terms of the quality of your work and the professionalism, I suppose, as you work through this course. Course materials, the only material necessary is this book, Tuesday with Maury. It's a very short book, but it's a good read for, I think, our week 3 module. It's a required reading. It's not a very long book, but it's a very good kind of storyline, and it sets up the module for week 3 quite well. It's available on Amazon. I saw it around $7 less. I'm sure you can find it in other venues. I'll post a couple links on Amazon for anyone interested, but I would recommend getting it as soon as you can. But outside of that, I think that's the only book that we're required to get. This course is, again, the capstone course, providing seniors or just kinesiology students deep into their degree the opportunity to explore historical and contemporary issues associated with health, physical activity, and exercise, specifically for underrepresented groups in the community. It's a really interesting and I think really cool course that many of you who are likely going to go on to be practitioners in this field hopefully can really take a lot away from. These student objectives are laid out here. I won't go into them in detail because you can read the syllabus, but we're looking at identifying social factors that influence perceptions of accessibility to sport and physical activity, looking at historical barriers, theory. There's a number of objectives that hopefully by August you'll feel comfortable and feel that you've achieved within this course. So first off, everyone is required to have first aid, CPR, and AED certifications. It seems a little bit why do you need this if it's virtual? Well, really the answer is that you're the first line of defense despite being virtually separated from them. If any of your clients are experiencing issues, it's, you're the first responder, really, who's going to have to handle these situations, know what the signs look for, and be able to respond accordingly. I've posted a link to the Red Cross certification in that initial email that I sent, that I think is called Summer CEL site. So please go back through your email and read that carefully. There's a link to one of the certifications there. If there are any others that you find, you're welcome to use those, but it does need to be a official certification where you can upload the PDF onto Canvas. I have this due on Monday. This is next Monday, so the 24th. It's really important that you have this done before you start your sessions with your clients, which are also supposed to be started next week. So really something to take care of this week or as soon as you can. Obviously, the main component of this course is going to be the community engaged learning participation. You should have seen yesterday that I sent out Canvas messages assigning you to your group based on the responsiveness of who sent me their option 1 and option 2 first. I tried to group people up with very similar schedules and try to get them their first choice of what they requested. With your partner in this group, I recommend reaching out to them this week, talking about schedules that work for you, but more importantly, it's going to be what the client schedule looks like. Some of you have assigned times. You should know that going into it, as that was listed in the group. But for others, this week is where you really should be reaching out to your client. For those of you who I've mentioned, you should include your site supervisor CC'd into those so that they can stay in the loop. Reach out to your client, set up an introductory orientation meeting, get to know each other, and start laying out, your session schedule for what you'll be sticking to throughout the semester. It's really good to get a concrete time and a stable time that doesn't switch each week, so you can have a bit of structure in your schedule. But get those conversations started as soon as you can, because the 24th next week is when we're starting our sessions. It's obviously a major component of the course. Because the CEL requirement has to be approved by the university, there's a lot of kind of structure and rigid requirements that go into it. And it's important that it's taken seriously and that you attend your sessions. The penalty for not attending your sessions is quite high, both because the course has to maintain that the relationship with our clients is beneficial to the community, but also from a student's point of view and your partner's point of view, just ensuring that you're having that responsibility to yourself, your partner, and your client especially. So please read this in detail. I'll actually make this full screen. Hopefully that'll be a little clearer. Please read this section in details. This is going to be the major component. You'll be making 2 one-hour sessions a week. These will be recorded and uploaded, except for the KINES in person, where you'll be kind of monitored by that site supervisor, and I'll come watch a couple of your, at least 1 or 2 of your sessions throughout the semester. But for the rest of the virtual options, these are going to have to be recorded. I sent out a guideline yesterday in the email or in the Canvas thread that I sent to your group. So just make sure that you read that carefully, because that goes over really the uploading of these recordings. Professor Stark, who teaches the other section, has a video about using My Media on Canvas. I'll try to hunt that down to see if I can upload it here, just to help anyone who would like to use the My Media on Canvas option, which will upload directly from your Zoom cloud, or for the Zoom files that are saved to your cloud. But for those of you who are able to download them onto your computer and upload them on Ubox, I would kind of prefer that method. I understand that these are massive files typically, so if you can't upload them, then look at the My Media option or something else. But if you're able to upload them on Ubox, share me those files, label each video with the group and the date. That's an easy way for me to be able to view these recordings. But again, just find what works for your group. I know my upload speed in my home internet is less than 1 megabyte per second. So anything bigger than 15 megabytes is not super easy for me to upload. So I definitely understand it. But just try to figure out a good way to upload these. I recommend early on, because you'll be doing this throughout the summer. The quicker you get this process down, the easier everything will be. So the next section is class participation. This course isn't usually taught online, because the participation, the group discussion, is a really essential part for, I think, growing and really learning a lot of these issues and having good thought-provoking conversations with your students, or sorry, with your classmates about these topics is really one of the best parts about this course. Because we're online, we're very limited in that capacity, which is why I've been tasked with my part to make this as engaging as I can. Obviously, I can't replicate the feel of in-person, working in small groups, getting to know people on a more intimate level. I tried it last summer virtually by having small discussion groups of 6 that people could set up throughout the week, rotating everyone every week. But with everyone's summer schedules, I know you guys are incredibly busy, which is partially why you take this online course. Scheduling with 6 people every week of different schedules it can be really difficult. So I opted to make this a bit more hands-off, in the sense that there's 2 components to this participation. There's a discussion of within each unit, and I think there's 5 or 6 units. Each unit lasts 2 weeks. So in the discussion thread, which I'll go through right after I go through the syllabus, you'll see that I post a number of prompts that are hopefully open-ended, thought-provoking kind of discussion prompts for you to respond to within the first week of that unit until Sunday at midnight. So that's your job for the first week of that unit. The second week, once everyone's had the opportunity to come up with a response that week, so this is week 2, so from that Monday to the next Sunday, is your job to reply to 2 people's responses in that initial thread. Engaging other students in this discussion is really going to be the best way we can hear other people's opinions, hear their stories, converse about these issues, and share our thoughts about them and our experiences. I highly encourage you to, be as, engaging in the responses. If somebody replies to your initial, I recommend going back through the thread and replying and trying to get a dialogue going. The quality of these responses and the responses to your classmates is going to be, how much everyone's going to get out of the discussion. So I encourage you to really, work with your classmates, engage with them, and try to get the most out of this discussion that you can. As always, please always be respectful to your classmates in your replies and your responses, and maintain a safe and healthy online community for everyone involved in this course. So that's discussion. That's the discussion section of the class participation. There are also weekly writing assignments that are more geared at making sure that these readings are being fully digested. Each week there's readings that I post online, and there's content in general that's related to that week's topic. These are chosen for a reason. The reason being, hopefully you can read them and get something out of them. So these questions are just meant to kind of test your reading comprehension of these, and that you actually sat down and digested them and thought about them, and just replied to these questions in a critical manner that shows some kind of deep thinking. And these are going to be due each week, which you'll see on Canvas throughout the semester. The participation is worth 100 points out of, I think, 500. So it's a massive portion of your grade. The weekly writing assignments are going to be just a clear benchmark of just, are you doing it every week? And the discussion prompts, I'll keep a record of throughout the semester, making sure you're posting a thoughtful initial reply to these discussion prompts, and that you're putting in those 2 responses to your classmates to really generate a good discussion. I'll post kind of an updated version halfway through the semester, so you can know where you're at, kind of out of 50 at that point, because this is kind of the most difficult component to grade. I don't want it to be a surprise at the end of the semester. So I'll try halfway through the semester to kind of give you an updated report of how you're doing in the discussion points, so that you can finish off the second semester the exact same way if you're doing great, or kind of put in a bit more effort. There's reflective logs, which are, you're only required to do 5 out of the entirety of the logs throughout the semester, as well as the final log. These reflective logs are meant to kind of be what about the content has made you think about things differently. What about your experience with your community engaged learning related to that week's topic has made you think differently? Are there things you've learned? It's an opportunity to think about your own growth through this course. What is challenging your current framing of thinking? What are things that you're surprised by? It can be about the weekly assignments for the reading. It can be about something you've noticed in the discussion. It can be something within your CEL. So there's a lot to go off of, but really it's just a write-up, about that week's topic in relation to your experience engaging with the content. As I mentioned, these are only 5 per semester, so you can pick the topics below here that seem to reach you or seem to be the most attractive to you the most. But everyone will be required to do the final reflection log, which is kind of a cumulative log about what you've grown from throughout the semester. Okay, moving on to the CEL presentation at the end of the semester. There'll just be a virtual presentation that you'll give. It says to the group, but it'll likely just be to me, just due to everyone's scheduling. There will be more posted about this as we go on right now. I don't want to flood your schedules and your brain with stress and too much information right now. I'll probably cover this more in June. There's a presentation guideline on Canvas right now in the file section, so you can kind of gear for it. But basically, expect at the end of the semester to just give I think it's an 18 to 22 minute presentation, kind of about your experience that you'll be giving me. And then finally, the big project, the end goal is this community impact project that you'll be writing. It's meant to be a very professional report that summarizes what you've been doing the last 3 months and your experiences the last 3 months. It's broken into an introduction of your client, a purpose statement, a literature review about the theory of why you chose to create your training intervention the way you did. And then, content about your intervention, your training that you're giving your participant or participants, and then a conclusion. This is meant to be written as a really professional document. But again, we'll kind of go into this a bit later. It says February 10th, which is not the day the purpose statement is due. But we'll keep up with all of that as we go throughout the semester. Below is just course policies and expectations. Feel free to read everything in detail. Here's the course outline. So that's the syllabus. That's a ton to go through. Keep a good record of what's expected of you each week. And hopefully with this video and with the syllabus, you'll be able to kind of keep track of everything. So let me just go into a module real quick, show everyone kind of what it's going to look like and a good way to navigate throughout this. Here is the general course information, course resources, the APA quiz, just making sure you understand APA formatting is found right here. There's slides, there's references, and there's a quiz, an APA quiz due some point this week, or I think the 24th. So keep track of that on Canvas. There's the CEL resources. Many of these I've sent out, the participation guidelines, a sample timesheet, which you'll be using to keep a log of your sessions each week, as well as a couple examples of the write-up and the presentation. So feel free to just browse those and use those to your advantage. So this is what units, what each unit looks like. Unit 1 is week 1 and 2. This first week is an introductory course, but located in this section in Canvas, you'll find the module for week 2. If you open it up, this will have all of your content for the week, readings, optional readings, activities, things to kind of provoke some kind of thought response related to the issue, as well as just content for you to kind of dig deep into and learn. I can't quite give in-person presentations to everyone because this is a virtual class. So, reading this content and, spending the time to really understand it and thoroughly go through everything is going to be really important to understanding each week's module, as well as giving you topic ideas for either the weekly assignment or the reflective logs or the discussion. So the more you spend on this, the more you'll be able to the easier your assignments will be going further. The to-do date, I think, is from last summer. So everything on Canvas should be updated on the calendar, maybe not necessarily right there. Going back into the module, there's no weekly assignment for the first 2 weeks. We'll start those in week 3. Here's the APA quiz. And here will be the first week's discussion. For this unit 1 discussion, and this is to remind you, again, the component where you'll respond to the prompt and then you'll respond to 2 others. This is where your unit 1 says there's a thread. Multiple people have already started, which is wonderful. In this unit 1, it's a very easy one, not super thought-provoking. It's just an introduction so I can get to know you and your classmates can get to know you. What are your career goals and what would you like to get out of this course so that I can help tailor it to what to everyone's interests so we can really get the most out of it. But that is what basically that's going to look like. Those discussions will be found within the module each week. So I think I've covered most of what I wanted to. For this first week, just make sure we get on top of that first aid certification so that you can upload that PDF. Reach out with your partner, reach out with your client, start setting up those session times. And I think those are the big ones for now. The APA quiz is coming up, I think, next week or soon. So stay on top of that. I'll be in constant communication with you through announcements and through emails to keep track of everything, keep everyone on the same page. You know, as this is my first experience teaching the course, I want to make sure everyone's having a good experience, learning a lot, which also requires you all to put in your best effort too. Please feel free to reach out to me at any time. My email's on Canvas. A lot of things going on in my research and everything, so I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. I'm usually pretty good about getting back within a day. But yeah, just reach out to me with any questions. Periodically as we go through the semester, you know, stay up to date, stay on things, and you know, I'm excited to have a great semester with you all, and I'll maybe make another one of these videos in a couple weeks here just to update on anything that's not clear. But otherwise, yeah, good luck with everything. I'm around, and I'll be in touch with all of you very soon.